Australians and people from around the world love the Great Barrier Reef. It's a natural beauty, its diverse marine wildlife and its protection of our northern eastern coastline are not to be taken for granted. But the inclusion of the phase-out of the Gillnet fishing in this motion is falsely tying this ill-informed decision to the protection of the reef. Now, we just heard from a member of parliament who lives in Ipswich, and before that we had the member for Moreton who brought forward this bill. They don't live near the Great Barrier Reef, and it's clear they haven't done much fishing either or spoken to any local fishers, because you can't net the reef. So you can't put a net over the top of the Great Barrier Reef for one simple reason: it will cut the net into pieces. So to say that you need to ban gillnet fishing to save the Great Barrier Reef is false, it's misleading, and it's clear that they haven't consulted anyone locally who works on the reef, any fishers that are out there, or anyone that supports this. Because in June this year, the Minister for Environment and Water made the decision to phase out N2 and N4 fishing licences by 31st of December 2023. Since the announcement, I've been strongly advocating to press pause so proper community consultation can take place. Imagine that, a government consulting the people that it's going to affect. We were promised that at the last election, but clearly, once again, it's another broken promise by this Labor government. I wrote to both the Minister for Environment and Water and the Minister for Fisheries and put forward several recommendations, including the immediate commencement of community consultation. Now, how's this for playing the blame game? The Labor Minister for the Environment and Water passed the buck off to one of her bureaucrats, who then referred responsibility to the State Labor Minister. He didn't bother to respond at all and refuses to even talk to the community or the media about what's going on. Talk about pointing the finger and letting the community down. The lack of responsibility over what is supposedly a joint initiative is dumbfounding. How can you completely destroy an industry without so much as answering basic questions? Then the last sitting period, the coalition government moved a motion for a formal inquiry into the adoption of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee policy directives. This was, of course, blocked by the Albanese Labor government and their Greens mates. If you don't wish to be questioned over a policy, then that is a clear indicator of what sort of policy it is. It's one of which they know they don't have any good answers for. So instead of answering basic questions, what do those opposite do? They put forward this tricky motion that is nothing but a false promotion of their decision to phase out a low-impact fishing technique and destroy the Australian seafood industry. So I'll ask again, where do the fishers go? What do people like Dr. Andrew Tobin do? He's the owner of a net licence, retail shop and seafood truck, where he delivers fish, wild-caught seafood across northwest Queensland. With this phase-out, he is set to lose it all. And out of everything that he's set to lose, what will he get compensation for? His licence and licence only. Never mind the seafood truck, the retail shop, or the impact of the sales. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this phase-out is cutting off the hand that feeds the industry, resulting in the loss of jobs, the closure of businesses that rely on this source of seafood product. Our fishing industry is already heavily regulated, with all commercial fishers keeping well-documented logbooks with up-to-the-minute information. All vessels are equipped with satellites for the purpose of monitoring their movement and communication. And both ministers don't understand their portfolios. When they think fishing with a net on the reef is even possible, like I said at the start. This is the complete, utter nonsense coming out of this Labor federal government as well as the Labor state government in Queensland. The sheer incompetence to think that a net can go over the reef just shows that they've spent no time out there. And to see the blame game and the pointing of the fingers is disgraceful. I call on both state and federal ministers to get out there and speak with locals on the ground.
Yeah, yeah.